Inside Story Uganda, real source of political updates.
In the internal democracy of the NRM, Honorable Dombo, isn't it quite odd that despite all the noise and all the outcry about a messy party primary, the Secretariat hasn't sat internally to audit and perhaps issue a statement?
The Secretariat has sat and we have looked at a number of issues, and I'm not at liberty to come here and begin diverging what we have so far come up with. But because these matters are being considered by the tribunal, there are matters on which we cannot make a statement about. Secondly, the Secretariat, through the advice given by the Central Executive Committee, has set up proposed names for the national chairman to name a committee of eminent personalities. Because when you are talking about the initial challenges which Honorable Sekikubo had in the past, you talked of the president inviting all the members. It was actually Honorable Semju who was saying that the president at a rally, instead of announcing one of the winners, he actually had to galvanize the party support by recognizing that all are members of the party. We must deal with the law and the matters as provided for at the law. But this is politics. This is a political party going into a political contestation. So the way we deal with this matter, we must ensure that the party remains united so that we can encounter the challenges that are ahead.
Did you ever see yourselves in this awkward position where you have to balance, where politics has to now go above the law?
Politics, this is a political party. And the political party deals with the politics of the nation.
You can rest the law and deal with the politics.
Law cannot be rested. But where you find it expedient that you must unite the population, you can ask people to agree through consensus. Because the way we determine leadership under NRM, the first method is by consensus. Where people can agree that let Dombo be our flag bearer and you don't need an election, that will be the best. Secondly, where they disagree and you must go through an election, you will do that. So for us as a party and the party secretariat, we must ensure that the law is protected, but the politics is galvanized so that we can win the elections that are coming in. Because everybody matters. Every individual in the party matters, irrespective of the challenges. When we lost elections, what Honorable Semju has been referring to, although he has been exaggerating some of the statements. One time we met, after I had lost my elections in the Ekijja, and the president says, but it's only 5 years. And Uganda is not ending today. Since that time, there are about 2 members of parliament who have been elected in my place. The one who defeated me was also defeated subsequently. If I'd wanted to go back, I would still contest. So Uganda is not about to end. And once people can discover this, then it becomes a basis for them to concede and say, fine, let Honorable Sekikubo continue today. If you look at Sekikubo, he's a very young man. If he chose to give in, he can say, after all, Bwana Rwashande is also a member of NRM. Honorable Semju has said that General Rwashande was arguing to the contrary, that Semju isn't, Honorable Sekikubo is not a member of NRM. I haven't heard him say that. We shall need to wait and see. But all of them are members of NRM, and for us, when we go to the general elections, we shall need the votes of General Rwashande, we shall need the votes of the supporters of Honorable Sekikubo. And how we deal with that, some of the issues may not be for the public and for us to come here on the media and discuss, but we need to consolidate NRM, and consolidation of NRM, we go through a number of processes. Some of them legal, others political, others through consensus building, through negotiations.
Honorable Sekikubo, with your victory snatched as you claim, would you go in for a consensus? And do we envisage a moment where you and Rashande will one day hug and move on?
Yeah, ordinarily, it depends on the circumstances.
Absolutely.
The circumstances are very critical. The honesty. But from my side, you see, contesting for a constituency, you don't go in to say that this constituency is mine, I must win. But when you participate and they choose to declare someone else, let them show how they declare that person.
No, but to resolve tensions, the crisis in Rwemiyaga.
I'm coming to that.
Would you give in to talks?
It is more painful to be cheated. How I wish one day you can join politics.
I was there.
To be cheated. To be cheated.
I burned my fingers.
To be cheated. And to know that it's not the people who have rejected you, but someone has just snatched that mandate using illegitimate methods. Using the army. Because the army should be for all of us. But someone has now used the army for their own personal ambitions. And that's where it is painful. Because we all pay allegiance to this enterprise called Uganda.
Yeah, but there should come a moment where you give up on the pain. You heal and reconcile.
If it's not this, because you see, it's not personal. There are people behind us. It's not personal, it's not him in Kira municipality. But there are people behind him. And whatever decision you must take, whatever decision you ought to take, you must put into account the people. We are in leadership today. Tomorrow, I may not be. But I want my name to go down well with the people. That the time when Sekikubo was here as our leader, we were able to do this. And certainly, Mr. Kagwa, I have no illusions. I'm not the first member of parliament for Rwemiyaga, and neither will I be the last member of parliament. But whilst I'm still there, can we play by the rules of the game? Why should someone use other methods to get power?
Can you talk
but at
to
the same time,
but at the same time, impasse?
Yes, but to me, I'm hurt and let down by even my party. Why should the party have double checks, double standards? You say come to the polls, convince the people, and indeed we'll go by that. But others now use the instruments of coercion to get their way. And that's where it is hurting, unless that question is answered. But you don't cheat me, you don't kick me around, and then you say, I should joyfully come to the table and say, yes, I'm here to reconcile. Because the differences did not start at the declaration, it went back to where we came from.
What is glaring, just a second, what is glaring is that you both have interests that you're representing. On one party, you accuse Rashande of having the army on his side.
Yes.
How about you?
No. That's why you could see Rwashande's soldiers were beating up people in lanes and beating me up, and I was helpless. I was defenseless. Yet the entry of the army was welcomed in as far as it was under the police. Let me tell you something that you've omitted. 1 week to the elections, the president sent the Inspector General of Police to meet the leaders of Sembabule, and indeed he met us. But the message from the president was, after the killing of Sembo Sifred, that henceforth it will be the police to lead in the election process. The army can be called in to buttress or to beef up the police, but it will, this election, the politics, and all that will be led by the police. So I want to ask the IGP, Mr. Byakagaba, once again, whether what he came to deliver the president's message was for window dressing, was meant to calm us down, Whereas actually, because what we are all surprised about is how the president's position, the president's pronouncement can be taken for granted.
Thank you. Honorable Semuju, do we look at the NRM primaries as a foretaste of what is yet to come, where violence, money, the army, and other factors are going to play out, unlike in the past? Or it's the past replaying?
I was with Honorable Salam Musumba at the PFF headquarters, and she told me this is what these fellows have served themselves. Do you think they are going to serve us something different? I said, we need to prepare. This is what they are able to serve, and this is what they have served themselves. It could even be worse. Because I don't think Sechikubo's situation is worse than Kawempe. I don't think so. In Kawempe, I saw for the first time Mamba armored vehicles being driven into a polling station, If you have, because the electoral law is very clear that you can't even carry a gun, just an AK-47, not even a pistol. The law says the Electoral Commission can deploy constables, and the constables are not even police.
So this was another version of Kawempe?
No. Kawempe was worse. So if you ask me that if what has happened in Zimbabwe is going to be repeated, it has already been served. Where you had the JAT, SFC, everybody, these goons that Museveni has had that are robbing people on the streets of Kampala, they were all there kicking ballot boxes, and these letters of Museveni, you need to go back. After doing everything they did in Kawempe, Museveni said NRM had been cheated. They even went to court. So I don't know, maybe we are too forgetful. The same Museveni who said that in Kawempe they have cheated NRM and encouraged the Nambi to go to court. And he doesn't know how the military went there. Now he says they are going to resolve the NRM issues. So that's how Museveni acts. So what was in Kawempe? Because I was in Soroti when they were cheating the FDC candidate. I was not in Kayunga, where they cheated the NUP candidate. At least there the violence was not as much as it was, because Kawempe is in the center, where you have the cameras. Someone will be restrained to do the things that they did in Kawempe. And they were celebrated by Mozka and Rugaba. So I am not a fool that I think in the next election they are going to allow campaigns to take place, they are going to allow free and fair. They are going to repeat the same thing. You will see Museveni on TV saying the military. Didn't you see him on TV? Saying, military, you're not even allowed to back at people. The law says you must come and introduce yourself, inform the next of kin. That is in the constitution. Has that ever happened in Jara?
Honorable Mbide, how much do Ugandans have to contend with when you look at the NRM template?
Now, what Ugandans need to do, you see, a snake that you can see cannot bite you. For me, this is a very good lesson. And this lesson goes now to all Ugandans who are heading for elections, all of us. Like Honorable Samju has said, that is the menu. This has been done in such a way that there is no outright state protection of the protagonists of crime, because clearly they have been dealing with each other. So they have been aligning the tools of coercion for the next election. Now, whoever will succeed, and I am saying this, of course, bearing in mind that obviously also petitions will be dealt with successfully. Whoever now will succeed as an NRM flag bearer is going to be a tool of operation against the rest. And what the rest now need to do is to organize for that operation.
We'll cross straight to Afro Mobile, and many thanks to our fans who have already